Hey there, welcome back and thanks for joining me. All my supplies are down in the description box below and most of them have links, so check that out. This is my second tumbler. I am so excited. It turned out beautiful. And I watched this tutorial from the Purple Stitch on YouTube. She does incredible stuff. But I saw this and I was like, that's my next coffee cup. That's what it's got to be. It looks like the creamer that you've poured into the coffee right before it gets mixed up really good. So as I'm putting the colors on this tumbler, I am listing them. I will also list them down in the description box, but I want you to see the colors as they're going on because they change a little bit. And I put Expresso on and wasn't real happy with it. Yeah, it on alcohol projects it does really good, but on the tumbler it went kind of gold. So you check your colors out a little bit, but I've listed them as I've put them on here. And right here I've got my epoxy mixed up, and it's this is the Stonecoat Countertop, and it's 50-50 by site, not by weight. It's by volume, not by weight. Before, when I did pictures and things like that on my acrylics, I would weigh it, and that's not the way to do it. Luckily, I was close enough so it didn't matter, but it cannot harden up for you. So you want to make sure you mix these exactly. I stir very vigorously. I have a torch or a heat gun that I can blow on it and pop the bubbles. I'm not worried about those. So here I'm just getting it applied. I'm being pretty generous about it. I think I've done the 20 milliliters, I think so, and I've got plenty. So, so you just want to go ahead and really coat it. You don't want to pour it off. You don't want it dripping on the paper underneath. You don't want to waste any. So I just keep working it and working it and working it until I've worked it down the whole cup. And don't forget the bottom. I did put this on my foam part, then I took electrical tape and I taped the edge. So when I pull this off, my top edge is clear. So I did that. It worked out well. So I was real happy with that. And you don't want to leave that tape on long, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and then go ahead and pull it off. And then I just take my little finger and smooth it. So that worked out really well. So here I'm just still working my hand back and forth, getting it on there. This will self-level, so don't worry about trying to smooth all that out. This is the same epoxy I do my coasters in, and it's great. Oh, it's just, you just smooth it on there, and by the time it starts drying, it's got itself leveled. I put it on my acrylic pours. I do all that stuff in this type. Now I've got some KS resin coming. They say that's incredible. I haven't tried it yet. I will let you know when I do, but this is the Stonecoat Countertop, and it is awesome. And it's also good up to 550 degrees. So this is a good one, and I've been pleased with it. You know, give it 3 or 4 days to really get good and hard. And this stuff, you can't scratch it. You know, you can take your fingernail and try to, it's not going. It's good. So this is a good one. But you definitely want to make sure you have plenty. If you don't have enough, the inks, when you put them on, won't move around. They'll just kind of stay in their spot, and you just need some extra there to move, because this is moving. As it's turning, this epoxy's moving a little bit. And when you do put your ink drops down on there, go slow till you understand how it's going to move. And then if you need it to move, or you need it to start mixing and it's just kind of staying in its spot, you can always take a heat gun or a torch to it, just a little bit, not much. A little bit of heat will thin it out, and it'll start moving on you again. So that's a good way to, if you've just kind of stuck and it doesn't look like it's doing anything, heat it up just a tad. Now here I'm putting the Expresso. See how it just kind of, it's not as chocolatey as I wanted. I wanted that real deep coffee looking chocolate brown look to it. It's not bad, but it'd be good for the medium color. If you were going to do a dark, a light, and a medium, this would be good. Now, I use piñatas in all of these except for the white, which is, what did I just say? No, I use Ranger in all these except for the white, which is piñata. Do not use the Ranger snow cap. It will clabber up on you like cottage cheese. It's terrible on this. So I should have known better, but there was one cup I did, and I had it just, luckily I just took an orangewood stick and it picked right up, so I was able to correct my mistake. Now this is the Marabu Brown. So I did use Marabu on here. It's a chocolatey, so I was pleased with it, and it did well. It's a chocolate. Now I've got all my browns in here, and I'm happy with those colors. So here I'm going to put the white, and this is where you start getting your swirls. And depending on where you put your white, you can put it on, this is turning away from me, so I can put it toward me. It's going to make it do different than if I dropped it on the other side. On the other side, it's going to like make long streaks. So play with that, see which way you want that to look. And there's definitely an art to that part of it too. And there's Now here, instead of taking the pole off the machine, I just thought it'd be easier just to tilt the machine. So I'm tilting it to where I have maybe a 45 degree, if not a little bit more, where I'm making these inks move long ways of the cup. They're not just doing the circle like it's turning. It's actually going to the base of the cup, going to the top of the cup, moving back and forth. And this is a good time to maybe hit it with a little heat, but you want to keep it moving. You don't want all your epoxy to start sliding off and create a problem there. So you want to keep this going back and forth. You can see I don't have it tilted really good right there, but you know, there's just times you can tilt it and move it back and forth and cause this inks to start swirling instead of looking like they're in a straight line going around your cup. And now you can see here some of the swirls. Now see that right there? That clabbered up. See how that pulled off? So don't worry if you've got one that just doesn't cooperate. Just stick you a little toothpick or something and just it picks right up. And I'm not sure why that did that because I didn't use the snow cap, but it did. I fixed it and we're having a nice day. So here I'm just kind of dabbing some epoxy back over it so it will kind of close up that gap that I picked up that white with. And you can see how this is starting to kind of swirl and not have just straight lines as it turns. And that's what you want. You want it to be able to move all the way around. And I work on that spot a couple times. And if you've got an area that you need to break up a little bit, you can put some epoxy there. You can always take a small toothpick or a popsicle stick and kind of manipulate a little bit. You don't want to do a lot. You don't want to start disturbing to where the epoxy can't get back together and make it smooth. But you know, you can manipulate this a little bit more than you would think, and it'd be okay. Because I did on some of the things I wanted white over here. I just kind of drug it over there, and it worked well. And it'd be And you can see how it's starting to move. It's starting to swirl a little bit. I back and forth take some heat to it to get it to move even more. And if you're using like a heat gun, you can actually blow it a little bit. I wouldn't recommend that a lot, and I wouldn't recommend it for long, because in a few seconds you can scorch your epoxy, and then it's not going to cure out right and be good. So you know, even an airbrush, I haven't tried an airbrush. I'm dying to, because the thought has just hit my head, and I really want to do that, but that's another tumbler. These are fun to do, and the fact that they're with alcohol inks, I'm just loving it, and I've had a big time. So I hope this gives you some good ideas if you want to play. If you already do alcohol inks, you've already got majority of the stuff. That's what was amazing. I was like, I just need a cup turner. I've got cups, and I've got the inks, and I had the epoxy, so this was a no-brainer to try. So I hope this gave you some good ideas, and if you're interested in future videos, hit that subscribe button, and y'all go have fun.